The PressBox High School Lacrosse Show is sponsored by Jerry's Tire, located in Baltimore City, just steps away from Little Italy and historic Jonestown. Jerry's not only sells all the major brands like Bridgestone, Michelin, and Continental, but is your go-to shop for everything from oil changes to factory schedule maintenance. All repairs are backed by a nationwide warranty. The team over at Jerry's has been serving the Baltimore area for over 62 years and are eager to earn your business. Give them a call at 410-685-4330 or visit them online at jerrystires.com to shop for tires and schedule an appointment. That's GERRYS tires.com. Now, here's Booker Corrigan.
Hey now! What a weekend of great college lacrosse, but then back it up a day. And on Friday, a little bit of rain, some thunderstorms rolling through the area. Lo and behold, McDonough goes over to Boys Latin, and Boys Latin, they were the higher-seeded team. You've been hearing me sing the praises of McDonough all year.
No doubt.
And one of the things I used to say as a coach all the time, and kids that I coach got sick of hearing it, 48 minutes isn't enough time for the best team to win. It's just enough time for the team that plays best. And BL played better, and they advanced. And over on the other side, I would have bet a lot of money that St. Paul's would have beaten
You've
Loyola.
been talking up St. Paul's all year.
I've been talking about them since the first time I saw them, which was when they played Landon, and they destroyed Landon in mid-March. And then I kind of went on hiatus. I didn't see them a lot, so out of sight, out of mind. I thought St. Paul's had a phenomenal team. I know Trey Whitty's a phenomenal coach. He's got some great helpers over there. Somehow, some way, Loyola, Gene Ubriaco. And I say somehow, some way. That game was more of a toss-up. McDonough BL was a colossal, just knockdown, drag-out brawl. And BL proved that they can brawl. On the other game, Loyola proved that they can rise to the occasion. They have some stars. The bad news for Loyola St. Paul's winner is
they got a little bit of a difficult matchup looming.
They'll be playing uphill against Calvert Hall. Now that doesn't mean anything because it's high school kids playing a sport, using sticks, chasing a ball. And we just had Louis Dubik on your show, and he said, one of the things that's important about this game is the relationships you develop. And that's so well said and so important for all the kids to hear because it really is high school kids running around with sticks chasing a ball. And sometimes it takes on more of an identity than that. And some people might say that, whoever wins the semifinals of the MIAA might not amount to a hill of beans. But this is our hill. And these are our beans.
Yeah. No, I love that. All right, but so Booker is alluding to the fact the semifinals are set tomorrow night at Towson University at United Stadium. The game of the week, the games of the week,
crazy. FCA Lacrosse Games of the Week on MIAAlacrosse.com or on WBAL Meet TV on Verizon and Comcast. Make sure you find it.
Or you can go to the Valley Inn.
Or you can go to the Valley Inn.
I love going to the Valley Inn. Who doesn't love a nice day at the Valley Inn, man?
Unbelievable service. I watched the final round of the Masters there. Remember, they bumped it to like 9
a.m. That's right. Did you have brunch?
We had whatever we wanted because the Valley Inn has everything.
All right, so that's coming up. What time does it all kick off tomorrow night?
5 o'clock.
Face off, if you will.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock tomorrow night.
Puck drop.
For the MIAA. Puck drops then. So I want to do it this way, Booker, because we've talked all about these teams throughout the course of the year. But you referenced that we're coming off a crazy weekend that was in college lacrosse. And to me, it's similar to the NCAA basketball tournament. To me, this past weekend is the biggest weekend of the year.
Without question.
In college lacrosse because there's the most teams involved. The games all matter the most. It's that important. There's wall-to-wall, right? From noon on Saturday until 10:30 last night, there was lacrosse being played somewhere.
Yep.
So give me the names tomorrow night for folks that are tuning in for the games of the week.
Yep.
Give me the names that you say these guys are going to be playing that opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. Maybe not next year, some of them next year, but in the coming years, if you're not a high school lacrosse fanatic, if it's not a big deal to you, if you didn't maybe go to an MIAA school, if you're like a loser like me that went to Perry Hall.
So for Calvert Hall, you got Jack Sawyer, Saucy Jack Sawyer.
That's right.
On attack, and Daniel Kelly, who are awesome. And then they have a freshman, Truett Sunderland, who's a freshman in high school, and he might be an all-MIAA caliber. He's not going to make all-MIAA, but he is that caliber of player. Their attack is all all-stars. Then you go into the midfield. You have Cole Herbert and Grant and Connor Mitchell, who are all studs. Josh Weber, who is another just slick as greased lightning. And my man Aiden Fritz, like a short stick team. He's a Swiss Army knife type guy. He can play the wings on faceoffs. Parker Bird is a great defenseman for them. They have Jackson Marshall in the cage, does Calvert Hall. Conversely, Loyola. And I want to kind of preview a little bit of tomorrow night, too. Kevin Ellington, goaltender for Loyola. Like a kindergartner and a porta-john. He's going to have to keep on his toes.
I like that. That one works.
He is going to have to keep. And Alex Bresci, one of their best midfielders. Then they have the Chorus boys. They're absolutely fantastic. They got a midfielder who I think Tucker, who's phenomenal. They got just a bunch of guys that they plug in there that do real well for them. So it'll be interesting. Ryan Williams is a star for them. I think he's a great long stick midi. He can cover a lot of guys. So there's your first semifinal.
Real quick, Alex Bresci, any relation to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nephew of Joe Bresci, son of Chuck Bresci.
Okay. Very cool.
So both played at Carolina. Obviously, Joe's still the coach there. Second game, St. Mary's defenseman B.J. Burlace, absolute star. Absolute star. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets invited. We don't know yet. The fourth wave hasn't been announced. Wouldn't be surprised to see B.J. Burlace get onto the Under Armour All-American Senior Game, which is the highest honor a lacrosse player can get.
No question.
Top 44 boys and top 44 girls get selected by the staff at Inside Lacrosse. Ty Sanders has a lot to do with Jeff Shannon, Terry Foy. These guys pour their heart and soul into picking a team of kids that they think have earned it. And it's so hard because there's, 40,000 kids playing the
sure, right.
High school lacrosse. So it's very challenging. That's a good one. Ian Cramp, attackman for St. Mary's, very, very good. Alex Wicks, midfielder, very good. It's very strong. It'll be interesting to see how he does in the game. And then, of course, BL. Where do you want me to start? Where do you want me to finish?
Well, we were talking on my show that if you're a casual lacrosse fan,
yep,
BL has some names that you will know are significant immediately.
Cam Spencer.
Now, you say Cam Spencer. Now, yeah, correct. That's the younger brother of one, Pat Spencer.
And he looks every bit of Patrick. Now,
How big is Cam?
6'2", 185, 6'1", 185. Yeah.
I think people don't realize, when you watch Pat Spencer, of course, Pat Spencer, the Loyola star, who's wrapping up his career and just became second all-time in the history of lacrosse and points for a career this past weekend. He's so physically imposing, and people talk about him as a basketball player and how he brings those basketball skills to the lacrosse field and posts up defenders and uses that body. And Cam, you're saying, is the exact same.
Very similar. He hasn't learned how to prevent a defender. And you were talking about Patrick. You cannot lean on Patrick Spencer.
Right.
If you lean, that means that your weight is going towards him, and he is using that against you in the blink of an eye.
Yep.
Cam is getting to that point, and I say that he is ahead of any other high school player who's doing it, but it's an art form that you have to be a sophomore in college to have fully perfected. But Cam's well on his way.
And Cam, of course, is headed to Loyola next year.
And then you have Dominic Petramala, who's a freshman.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before you're going to see him playing, but he's going to break basically every record before he gets there.
It's interesting to see him because one of the things I loved about him is anybody, and I had parents come to me and say, oh, my son's a really good time and room shooter. Where should he go to college? Club. Mm-hmm. Because every kid on every college roster is a good time and room shooter.
Yeah.
So I was taken back by how well Dominic was able to score in those situations. Anybody can sling it 3 yards over the goal and make it look like it went over the fence and everybody goes ooh and ah. Dominic stings corners. The other thing I like about the way Dominic plays is he can
does he log on to istingcorners.net?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Several times. And he scored 7 goals against Loyola, so he can bring it. But the thing that really impressed me about the way he plays is he doesn't shy away from contact, and a lot of freshmen do. Their other starting attackman, Ben Smith, he started the year with the most experience of any of them, and he's kind of the guy that you're almost like, wow, he's unbelievably awesome. Scored the game winner in overtime for them so that they could advance. They beat St. Paul's last Friday, the big rivalry game.
Right.
Midfield-wise, they're very, very good. I love Cole Erickson. I love Ryan Evans. Ryan Evans is one of those kids. doesn't show up on the stat sheet all the time, but every coach wants him on their team. That's the attribute that you want in a midfielder, quite honestly. I just did the Penn game, and they have this kid, Hanley, who's a midfielder who can score goals. You don't want him to go play defense. He doesn't play the wing on faceoffs. I mean, this kid, Ryan Evans, for Boys Latin, he plays the wing on a lot of faceoffs. He plays defense when you need him to. Cole Erickson, kind of the same way. Those plug-in guys that really, really help a program. Then you look defensively, Reagan McNamara and Blake Gable. I don't want to mess with them. And I'd like to mess with a lot of high school kids.
What does that mean?
Just
I know. From a lacrosse standpoint.
Yeah, from a lacrosse standpoint, I'd like to mess with them. But, I'll do the intellectual challenge with them, too.
Yeah.
Like, every now and then people see my interviews and they're like,
Absolutely.
wow.
Yeah,
he's good.
Right.
He knows what he's doing.
Challenge
with
him.
Yeah.
Challenge him. I like
Why
that.
wouldn't you? But those two guys, if I was playing in a lacrosse game and they matched up on me, I'd be like, okay, here's the Munich Pact, the non-aggression. I'm not dodging you, and you ain't slashing me. And if I can't get rid of the ball fast enough, give me an extra second, and I will get rid of it then, because I don't need you beating me to the ground.
Right.
Because that's what they do.
Right.
And then they got Morton in the goal. Morton's a star. It's interesting. Brian Farrell, younger coach.
Sure.
But also knows what he has and knows how to make the most of it. You've heard me say it 1,000 times on this show. Coaches are responsible for helping young men become the best possible version of themselves. And as a coach, you're also trying to help your team become the best possible version of itself. And I even said that on the air on Saturday in the Penn Army game.
Sure.
I mean, we're so blessed in the sport of lacrosse to have so many great people who coach the game. Junior Briaco from Loyola, Brian Kelly from Calvert Hall. I would adopt them tomorrow.
It's great.
If I could.
All right.
I say that as if I'm older than them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
And I am
a little bit. A little bit. That's it.
Maybe 20 years.
All right. We're in the by the way, we're in the live casino hotel studio of PressBox.
Yes.
It is the PressBox High School Lacrosse Show with Booker Corrigan. Booker, clearly, look, we would never bet on high school lacrosse because we would never do that. But let's say hypothetically, I was to be putting down a few shekels. Obviously, I'd be putting down a few shekels on Calvert Hall.
I would not talk you out. Well, it's
it would and it would depend on the odds. But again, this is all hypothetical. We would never actually do this. Do you know somebody?
Yeah.
Second game. The second game.
Do you know somebody?
If you were to be creating...
No idea.
Okay.
And I love the question. And I can tell you, and I kind of started the show with it here from the live casino hotel studio, with 48 minutes is not enough time for the best team to win. It's only enough time for the team that plays best.
That's right.
And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a 13-12 game, BL St. Mary's. And you know who's going to win?
The team that scores 13. I do know that one. All right, Book. The championship is?
Friday at Towson. They have the C Conference Championship game, then the CBA. I'm getting there.
And you guys
had a great weekend.
All three of them for the game of the week? Are all three going to be available? Okay, let me make sure I have this right. Just the A conference.
Yeah,
okay.
The C will play, then the B will play, and then around 7:30 we'll get the A conference going. We just had a nice meeting at Corrigan Sports to talk about, because we are the facilitators of it, even though it's at Towson. We're the ones who run it all. We got some great people. FCA Lacrosse is so great. Kelly and Associates, so fantastic to help us year in, year out get these games onto TVs and computers across the country.
No
I had
doubt.
a guy in Stockholm, Sweden, literally hitting me on Facebook Messenger.
That's
Greg
cool.
Bernstein, who's like, go McDonough. I
That's
coached
cool.
him at McDonough.
That's really cool.
Class of 07, Greg Bernstein, love him. And so we're global.
It's awesome.
The game of the week has gone global.
So again, semifinals tomorrow night.
Yep, and that's the MIAA A Conference semifinals. And you see me, those of you on Facebook who are watching, you see me, like the excitement. College coaches flock. If your team is not still playing, so Tambroni won't be there, Toomey won't be there, the Lars Tiffany won't be there.
Right, they've got some things to worry about.
Every other college coach who's looking at D1, D2, D3, they're going to try and find their way to Towson Stadium to see, and they all sit up in their corners, and they try not to wear too much of their gear, but they all are texting or calling or emailing kids later saying, I saw your game. I noticed in the second quarter how you faced some adversity, you had a challenge, you had to play uphill, and I like the way you handled it, and that's why I want you to come visit my school. And that's what the MIAA conference does, and that's what the game of the week shows you every time.
So again, semifinals tomorrow night.
Yep.
Championship on Friday night.
Yep. Title game on Friday night.
And again, same locations for all of them.
And aside from the Under Armour underclass callback game, these 3 games are the highest level of lacrosse you can see in your region. And if you're watching from upstate New York or New England or New Jersey or Philly, they all have Under Armour tryouts there, and the callback game is the premier game. College coaches, for the semifinals tomorrow, there'll be 30 or 40 there.
Yep.
For the Under Armour underclass tryout
Every
callback
single one.
game, there's goal line to goal line, every one of them in a chair, and they're elbow to elbow.
No doubt.
Or as they say in the Valley Inn, butts to...
Oh, well, right. But no, we know what you were.
Can say
it rhymes. It rhymes.
I can
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Butts to guts. That's what they always say. Butts to guts was what they meant the entire time. All right, at Booker Corrigan on Twitter.
Yes, and I get some followers every time. I throw out some Glenn Clark every now and then because I can.
That's correct. And every game, of course, is available at MIAAlacrosse.com.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Check them all out.
Or go to the Valley Inn.
Or go to the Valley Inn.
See my man Chris Pelkey. Taco!
Hey, thanks to Jerry's Tire, as always,
Yes.
for making it happen. The folks at Live Casino Hotel as well for making it happen. And Booker, why don't you take us home?
Well, first of all, Glenn, thank you.
Oh, that's sweet of you to
truly
say.
appreciate it. I love doing it, and I think that we do. We play off each other
We have
very
fun.
nicely.
And we'll come back and we'll wrap up the season next
Of
week,
course.
obviously.
Of course, making sure. But I just want to make sure I, didn't leave without
That's
saying
very
thank
nice
you.
of you. That's very nice of you. I missed you
And-
last week, but not too much because I was knee deep in beignets.
I don't know who Ben Ye is, but
I'm
sure he appreciated it.
Take us home.
You walked into that one, my man.
Get out of here.
To all of you, don't miss the MIAA conference semifinals and finals. It's the premier lacrosse you can get without getting to the Under Armour underclass tryout. Baltimore 10 miler coming up. Thunder Bay Apparel, ThunderBay1636.com. You saw my tie on Saturday. I was looking pretty sharp.
Look good. Look good.
Yeah, you got to love it. And to all you folks in Westminster, take care. Take care.
You're really worried about Westminster. I know. You're worried about Westminster.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
I hear you. It ain't great.
Can I give a public service announcement?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, it's your show.
It's
Do what you want to do.
Don't run. Call 911.
I've always said that.
Oh. Hey. Folks, thanks for listening. Thank you, Glenn. I'm Booker Corrigan reminding you, you only get one shot at today.